sense on things. I think that you need to have an execution other than ideas to have the audacity to stand up here and expect people to waste their time and money listening to what you have to say. And so I'm proud that over the last 6 years, I've been executing VaynerMedia. And while I do this Gary V thing, Gary Vaynerchuk, the CEO of a $150 million holding company from scratch, is exciting and interesting. And it really has become obvious to me why that's happening. And it's around mindset. I think that there's way too many people in this audience that are in the excuse business. And it's tough because I'm empathetic. There's always things. You know, you could have two parents that were drug addicts. You could have lost your parents in a car accident when you were a kid. You could have had your money stolen to you by a partner. There's so many things that happen in life. I'm super empathetic to it. The ultimate problem is that the market, the world, doesn't care, right? There's so much dwelling going on, so many reasons why not. And the thing that has been really interesting to me is that if you asked me what works for me, it's optimism and gratitude and positive mindset. Like, it's really interesting. To me, life is pretty binary. It's either black or white. It's either yes or no. And the one that matters to me the most is you're either on the offense in your life right now or you're on the defense. You're either coming up with reasons why not, all this technology, all this stuff, why not, or why yes, all this technology, all this stuff. You're looking at things and you're making a decision. And so for me, a lot of what I've been thinking about is mindset and why optimism works. Literally 7 minutes ago in the green room, I'm on the phone with executives at VaynerMedia. I'm getting texts of a scope that we expected to sign, failed, $1 million, literally counting on $1 million, gone, zero, not happening, right? Another pitch, we were in the final two, $8 million, didn't get it. Literally in 47 seconds, step back in the back room, I lost $9 million. And I'll be very frank with you, I'm fucking pumped about it. I genuinely like losing. I like learning from it. I was like thinking about like why, what happened, where we go, where was the misstep, why. Like, it's really incredible. And look, when you can afford to lose it, and I'm sure people are thinking this, it's easier. I get it. It's not like I lost 9 million, Vayner lost 9 million in revenue. But to me, it's not about anything other than mindset. And so if I got anything out of this, I'll go into the tactics. I'll talk to you about social in a minute. I'm about to tell you why Facebook and Instagram. You know, I did a lot of homework on Saturday about the Australian market on my thesis around influencers, Instagram, Facebook, and Snapchat. Let me save you a lot of time. Everything that you've been hearing me talk about. How many people here consume my content? Raise your hands. Thank you, that was awesome. I'm just gonna do that again. How many people here consume my content? Yeah. Okay. So, here's what's interesting. Literally everything that I'm spitting comes obviously from an American-centric point of view. That's where I operate. Obviously, we have a UK office. We're looking at Singapore. We're doing other things. But I'm aware that outside of Russia and mainland China, most of this stuff actually works. Maybe there's a couple of different nuances. What fascinates the shit out of me is the consumption patterns of the Australian and New Zealand market and the underpriced nature extremities of what I believe in. Literally, everything that I've been talking about for the last year, you can add a additional 20 to 40% tax of upside. It is literally 20 to 40% even better in this market. And I get so pissed when people are in any place besides the US market or China, where they're like, well, it's a smaller market, it's this, that, and the other. That's where all the upside is. You can only compete against what you can compete against, right? And so I believe that we are living through the greatest era to be an entrepreneur ever. I think the internet is grossly underestimated, and I think there's a ton of opportunity. But if you ask me what I would want to leave with from this talk today, it's to shift one or two persons' mindsets. You know, to me, it's an incredible feeling to stand up here and expect nothing from nobody and take full responsibility for everything. The teleco company that gave it to us and we lost it, and we, in the back room, the 8 million, I spent 0 days and 0 seconds on it. I was not part of the pitch. I was not part of the process. I empowered all my people. I saw the news in the back room, and I took full 100% blame and responsibility. I am fascinated by your upbringing, both your parents and the neighborhood and the siblings and the friends. I am fascinated by your upbringing, the era you grew up in, the macro and micro climates that you grew up in, not the fucking weather, I mean the economics and the politics and that climate. I'm fascinated what made me, my mom, my dad, being an immigrant from Russia, being in America, being in Jersey, like the friends I ran into, baseball cards becoming popular, allowing me to sell something. I'm fascinated the environment that created me in this completely emotional place of enormous strength, which is the engine and the oxygen that allows me to be successful in business and life. And then what is it that other people don't have or didn't have? And I see it. I see how my grandmother parented my dad. I see my sisters and brothers' DNA different than mine, just timing and things of that nature. And so I'm going heady for my opening spot because I need you to understand, too many of you are going to take fucking notes right now and think it's about a Facebook ad. Too many of you are about to take a note and be like, okay, Google how to use Instagram influencers. We'll get to that. I'm about to talk about that. But if your foundation isn't right, you have no shot of long-term success. If you're not in a place where you believe this, and look, this is super, I'm even throwing up on to be very frank, here's what's happening in my head. I'm listening to what I'm saying right now, I'm like, this fucking sucks. I'm being serious. I'm being really fucking serious with you, actually. And I'm saying that because I'm like, man, it's so, what I'm talking about is so hard to touch, right? But it's still my truth. It's what I believe. You're either on the offense or you're on the defense. You either see all these technologies as the gateway drug to your entire future, or you're upset that it was much easier to do this on email and SEO, and you don't like this social media thing, right? I don't like these new things either. I built my dad's business from a $3 to $60 million business on email and Google AdWords. I didn't want YouTube to come along. I didn't want Twitter to come along, right? I didn't want Facebook to come along. I didn't want Snapchat to come along. I don't want voice and Alexa skills and podcasts to come along. I'm not looking forward to VR. The problem is technology and the way we live doesn't care about my opinion or my feelings, and it doesn't care about yours either. And so you can walk around Earth and judge, oh, it's so sad that all these kids can't communicate because they're on the phone anymore. Or you can walk out tonight and have dinner and see people at a table and nobody's talking to each other and they're all on the phone and you're judging. And you could talk about a day and age when it was simpler and nicer and all this. Nobody gives a fuck. And if you don't adjust to the reality of the situation, you will be completely